yeah. I haven't watched it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah. I don't mean to say that it's like those two shows. It's just weird in somewhat similar ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen a show whiff so bad as the end of that first season.
Now I need to know.
Yeah.
I don't want you to tell me. I want to get there on my own.
Oh, man.
I want to waste that time myself.
I just heard the words X-Files and I'm like, okay, what?
If my personal POV is nothing like the X-Files or Stranger Things, but if other people think that, I don't say they can't think that.
It's less that I haven't been told it's like that. I've just been told that I should watch it because I like those things.
Yeah, and my dad was like, it is one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen, and I'm like, sign me up.
All right. Everybody ready?
Yes. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Heck yeah. Hello, and welcome to this very special episode of Gaming Fix, the podcast. Recorded by 6 friends from around the world, mainly just between like the UK and Japan, just that area. If you go through America, it's that way. On this episode 69 on April 20th, the nicest of episodes.
I wish it was episode 69.
Double nice. Episode 69 on 420. That's us. Don't worry about the actual order of the episodes. And a very special happy birthday to Allyson.
Yay, thank you.
One of our co-hosts. Yes, thank you for joining us. Not having his birthday today, Sam.
Hello. It isn't my birthday.
Also
like 2
not
weeks away.
Very happy unbirthday to Pat.
It's only 5 days until my birthday.
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't know when anybody's birthday is. Just I know when my girlfriend's birthday because it's 3-2-1. Easy to remember.
That's the important one to remember, though. So
yeah. Well, yeah. Alex Galinas joining us from the Great White North.
Yep. It's not my birthday. Mine was like a month ago.
Woo. And Erica Hernandez.
Yeah, I got like 8 months until my birthday.
Woo.
Yay.
Killing it on the birthday front here on Gaming Fix today.
So if you pay attention, you'll know all of our birthdays.
Roughly.
There's a quiz.
Like, roughly.
So
there hasn't been a quiz in like months.
Yeah.
It's a birthday quiz.
That's true.
We never got to find out who the winner of the quizzes was.
Yeah.
It's because I forgot to write down the winners of some weeks, and I was like, oh no.
Well, it sounds like you have to go back and listen to some episodes.
Maybe I can do an all quiz episode for episode 69.
Well, that's this episode. I hope your quiz is ready. But we are going to jump to Sam so he can tell us about his game, because he's going to have to run in just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so I only want to talk a couple of minutes about this because it's like a phone idle game. It's called AFK Arena, and basically the numbers keep going up. So,
all right, moving on.
Nice.
I can confirm I did play. The numbers went up.
I really like, my favorite Final Fantasy game is 12, and it's where you like set up your lineup and you set up your characters and then like let them run. And this is very similar in that like you get like your lineup together, you get all your characters, and then you kind of let the battle play out automatically. So there's like a story mode, but there's like no story whatsoever. There's like a bit of blurb at the beginning of each chapter. And like you are faced off against other heroes from the game. They never explain why.
The forces of heaven and life and death are battling. There's a dragon.
There's some weird stuff that happens at the beginning, and then they never ever touch on that again. It's basically like a gacha game, so it's very reminiscent to me of Fire Emblem Heroes, which is the only other gacha game that I got super into. But like instead of having Fire Emblem combat, you have this like pretty quick, like real time it's not strategy because you can't move or do anything with the characters, but you can control their abilities if you want. I usually set them on auto and the speed to the maximum and just kind of let it play out as quickly as possible. The game in and of itself is, for me, is like collecting characters and growing the character roster and like leveling everybody up. And then like there is quite a few like like play by mail games, what they call what's the term?
Asynchronous.
Asynchronous, yeah. There's asynchronous PvP basically, and that you have like your team, and you put them up to protect you, and then you like while you're not playing the game, other people are challenging you, and you get like a world leaderboard. The highest I've been on the world leaderboard is 49 out of like however many thousand, which is pretty cool. But also the daily reset is like at a really stupid time for me, so I'm never a good level at the reset, which is where your rewards for the day are counted. But celebrity. It's just there's not much to it in terms of there's a lot to it. There's a lot of activities, but I would just say give it a try because it's 100% free. I already gave them some money in a microtransaction because I had Google Play voucher that was like buy in-game purchases get so and so % off. So I just did that. And I would totally recommend it if you want to be my friend on there. There's a friend code thing.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say if you want to be my friend, you'll join with.
You gotta get with my lovers.
Yeah, if you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my AFK Arena guild.
AFK Arena lover.
Yeah.
I've got like now I've got like 3 gacha games installed on my phone. I've got Another Eden, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and
that's the real shit.
Pat, you've got to play it.
I'm going to. Don't worry.
It's like 800 missions.
I know. I was reading about it. I've been researching.
I'm like at like 80. And it's oh my god. There's so much happening in that game.
AFK Heroes is pretty cool.
There's something lovely about Pat getting into Kingdom Hearts. I'm into this.
Yeah,
they're all mainline games.
I'm into it too, and they are all mainline games. From what I understand, there's like actual real story stuff that happens in Union Cross.
No, there absolutely is, and it doesn't happen till like mission like 636 or 736 or something.
I believe they've continued to add things.
They give you a message. Yeah, no, it's not finished. The story isn't finished.
Yeah.
So
Kingdom Hearts 3 has come and gone, and the story of the mobile game is still trucking. I'm so into this shit.
And things about Kingdom Hearts 3 will probably be revealed in the mobile game, or yet to be revealed. But Pat, you've got another game that you wanted to share before Sam left, so he could appreciate it.
One quick thing also. I played Creature of Havoc by Steve Jackson, which is a book that is also a game.
You played a book? Nerd.
I played like 2.5 hours before I died, and I died by my character hitting a wall and the wall falling on me in a way that I could not predict in any way. So I count that as bullshit. But I would highly recommend that specific fighting fantasy novel, Creature of Havoc. It's really, really good. And I've never played a fighting fantasy before, and it's basically like solo D&D, where the book is your DM. Mm-hmm. And they are written for kids. They're in the like teen section in the bookshop, but I'm not.
They're fun though.
Super teen appropriate, actually.
Yeah.
It's like long words and a lot of like blood and murder.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. Yeah. Also, you are doing the blood and the murder. So it's a bit odd. But totally 100%. Yeah,
those stories get really weird. Some of them, I've played Warlock of Firetop Mountain, but I've read little bits and pieces of other ones. They get strange. There's like a superhero one. There's like ones where you're the bad guy. There's a bunch of like weird twists and turns. Steve Jackson is a game designer that consistently makes me fucking insane. But also, when he does stuff that's good, it's very good. The problem is that when he does stuff that's bad, it's very bad, and people like it anyway, and they shouldn't. But
I will definitely buy. I've already ordered the superhero one, so I will give that a play.
Fighting fantasy is cool. Those are pretty solid across the board.
It's a great thing to do while on holiday with no like free real time away from a group of children.
Well, in stark contrast to last week, this week I played like one video game, which was a whole lot of Kingdom Hearts 2, which I'm almost done with. I hit a fucking wall on a boss. The difficulty in the boss is added in Final Mix, but the difficulty goes from like, I was having like a very good time with the difficulty curve. I found it pretty easy is the wrong word. It was like just challenging enough. And then I hit a boss that's like just fuck off hard. That you have to suddenly use, like, I had a build that I liked that was focused on doing a lot of air combos because that tended to work with a lot of different enemies in the game. This is just like another dude with 2 keyblades. I know who it is, but I won't spoil it because he's technically like cloaked. And I guess if you're not paying attention to the crazy story, you might have not figured out who it would be. But it's just like you have to all of a sudden know how to do all of the parries and all of the mechanics that I haven't been using because I've preferred this other build. Now all of a sudden I have to know how to do them all with frame perfect accuracy. Like, it's like, seriously, this is like harder than anything I've done in Sekiro so far. And I'm not exaggerating, which I'm not that far in Sekiro. So take that with a grain of salt, but it's like, I did it for an hour and a half and got nowhere near killing this boss. So that's where I'm at there. I'm going to dive back into that well today and see about it. Alyssa was disappointed last night because I didn't play Kingdom Hearts and instead played the game that I'm going to talk about before Sam has to take off in a few minutes, which is Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth, which is a board game.
This is so off-brand for you.
Yeah, no, wait.
Does it have X-Wings in it?
No, it doesn't have X-Wings.
No.
This is a video games podcast where we talk about books and board games.
I don't talk about it that much because there's not as much of an opportunity compared to Star Wars, but Lord of the Rings is like very, very, very near and dear to my heart as well. It's probably my other favorite like fictional setting.
It's fantasy Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean it came first, but sort of. Star Wars is more like sci-fi Lord of the Rings. But this is a new Lord of the Rings game from Fantasy Flight Games. The Lord of the Rings license is a little weirder than the Star Wars license because while Fantasy Flight produces most of the Lord of the Rings games, there are some specific ones that other publishers publish because they've been making them forever. Mm-hmm. So not everything Lord of the Rings is Fantasy Flight, but this game is interesting because it's kind of a culmination of a school of design that Fantasy Flight has been working on for around 15 years. Have any of you heard of Descent, Journeys in the Dark?
I have.
Just the movie.
So Descent, the first edition of Descent came out, I don't know. I remember seeing it 15 years ago, but that was around the time I was first hanging out in hobby stores. So it could be much longer than that. I don't actually know the date that it was first published, but Descent and then later Descent Second Edition, Imperial Assault, which is a Star Wars skinned version of it, Mansions of Madness. These are all games that sort of pit 4 players against a player kind of basically dungeon mastering it, but the player dungeon mastering it's a lot more structured than a role-playing game. They don't have to come up with any stuff. They're setting up a board ahead of time instead of like more abstract maps that are drawn or whatever. Usually they use tiles to sort of have the different board elements, and it's also more competitive. The idea is that the dungeon master is trying to win and trying to kill the players. And some of them, Descent and Imperial Assault, have campaigns, so you're kind of like building strength over time, both the bad guy and the heroes. And then Mansions of Madness is more like single. That one's kind of based on their Arkham Horror Lovecraftian stuff. That one is more single scenarios. So anyway, those games are cool, but having played I've played through a full Imperial Assault campaign and a full Descent campaign, and the problem at the end is that you sort of feel like if you're playing as the bad guy, you feel bad, crushing the players. Because like Descent, we played like 15-hour to 2-hour long sessions of, and then at the end in the last mission, I won, and I felt kind of bad because the players were like, "Oh man, we played this like 30-hour campaign and we lost." So that kind of sucks. And then the other thing is when you're playing as the player, it kind of feels like you're ganging up on the solo player. So I'm not a huge fan of those. Some people really like them. I don't like the way that it kind of pits you against each other. So something they've done more recently is introduced the use of tablet/computer/phone apps to sort of automate that dungeon master character. So now they're fully cooperative. So you can get an app for Descent and Imperial Assault that lets you do this. It's a little tacked on. I don't know if that's fair, but the game wasn't designed from the ground up to use this app. So the app had to be designed around the features of the game. So Journeys of Middle-earth is the first time that the application and the game were kind of developed together. And it seems pretty fantastic after playing the first couple scenarios last night. This also means that it's really geared well for solitaire play too, because and this game in particular, because there's no hidden information between players. So you can play with as many characters as you want solo, and it's not like you're cheating or anything. But it's kind of in contrast to the sort of legacy game, which stuff like Gloomhaven and Risk Legacy and Betrayal at House on the Hill Legacy, all of those games take this tack of like over the course of the game, you're actually modifying components in some way. Gloomhaven a little less, so you're just putting stickers on a board and you can get a reusable sticker pack. But in Journeys of Middle-earth, it's kind of that same, you play a campaign over 12 missions, but you're not modifying any components. Your characters grow, but it's more additive, and then the stuff that changes is tracked in the app so that you don't have to destroy any components or like put stickers on anything. It's all done digitally. And the thing that is, before Sam goes, like I want to talk a little bit about the mechanics because they're interesting, but the thing that's so cool about it is it combines the sort of larger scale traveling around a world map in one scenario with tighter tactical, you're in a like courtyard or a forest tile fighting enemies on a like much more zoomed in map. So the change in scale that happens between scenarios is really, really cool. Like the first scenario, I was trying to find this bandit hideout. And then the second scenario was being in the bandit hideout on a much scaled down map. The first map was supposed to be like a huge chunk of the Shire. The second scenario map was like the courtyard and the inside of this bandit camp. And so that change in scale is really neat, and it does it without changing the rules at all. It kind of translates from one scale of map to the next scale of map because the rules are fairly easy to understand. The other thing too is that it uses the app. You need the app, but it's definitely not like you're playing in the app. You tap on the app for things.
You need an online connection to play this board game.
Thankfully, you don't need an online connection. You can play it offline.
How are you going to get this app without
the app? Doesn't have to log in. You can download it once.
You need to download. You need an internet connection to download this app.
Correct. So you would need to go if you live off the grid in the forest. Then you wouldn't be able to
go to your public library.
If you go to the whatever store you buy it at and spend an extra 10 minutes in the store downloading the app, you're good to go. It also means that they will release. They already have announced it. They're releasing like a $15 figure pack that includes some more enemies and extra cards, and near to the end of the year, that'll just slot into any campaign. You just tell the app you have it, and then those enemies can appear. And then there's also extra campaigns that they're going to release through the app that don't have physical components, but that are like $5, and then you get a new campaign of scenarios. And then what the app sort of does is you have all these map tiles, and it'll tell you how to set them up at the beginning of the scenario. So the maps and scenarios are somewhat procedural. There's a general, like, each scenario has the same kind of overarching goal every time you play it, but the layout of the map, what enemies appear when, where certain search tokens and narrative events appear, that's all procedural and can change from scenario to scenario. So like the brief story that I'll tell is, like, I spent this first scenario trying to find this bandit camp. I won it. It was challenging, but I definitely felt like confident in how well I was playing. And then the second scenario is going into this bandit camp. So like there's this portcullis and I need to lower it because that'll stop the flow of enemies coming out of the back of the base. So I ran one of my characters who's a Pathfinder who has the ability to like move faster using her cards. I ran her to the back. She's Barivore. She's a character Fantasy Flight created. And my other character I'm playing with is Aragorn. And I ran Barivore to the back of the cave, managed to shut the portcullis while Aragorn killed the few orcs that were out in the courtyard. Spoiler, the bandits have help from orcs. The story is not that remarkable. It's just, it's pretty standard RPG fare. And then the leader of the orcs came out of his tent inside of the stronghold, the ruins. And so Aragorn and Barivore rush over to the leader. I'm able to drop the leader, but then I have to do an agility test, which Aragorn does not succeed at. And then he gets stabbed in the foot by the leader, and the leader stands back up and is at full health. And then the leader just like destroys Aragorn. But what's cool is it was like a surprising narrative twist. And in this game, when you lose, the story continues, and you just have this, you know, I won scenario 1, I lost scenario 2, and it adapts and changes to where you're going. And it really factors in if you won or lost. Sam, do you have to head out, I think?
Yeah, and it's still getting ready, so
okay. So I won't spend like, I won't read you the whole rule book or anything, but what I think is cool about this game
while you're here.
Huh?
Do some magic while you're here.
Yeah. I think what's cool about this game is there's typically most of these kinds of games are, you do a lot of dice rolling, which makes sense. Like that's what you do in a lot of role-playing games. And some they've like Descent and Imperial Assault have some cool methods of changing up the whole dice rolling thing, but you're still rolling a lot of dice. It's still a lot of like, what does my equipment give me? I roll that many dice and I pass or fail. And that's fine, but it's not particularly exciting to me. Gloomhaven has a really complex card system where you have a hand of cards. It's really, really well made, but I also don't play that game very often because it's such a huge strain, like cognitively, to play 2 characters in that game. And you kind of have to when you play solo, because you have to sort of program out your turn in Gloomhaven in a way that is awesome. Like it's incredibly deep and complex and really cool, but it's also hard. And it's like, and in Gloomhaven, when you lose a scenario, you have to play it again. So like when I play it, I'm usually sitting and kind of bashing my head against this scenario a few times. And it's because I should get better at the game. But and I don't want to like say it's not great, but it's a little heavy to play on a Thursday night after work or whatever. So the way the Lord of the Rings works is you have a character deck of cards. So all you really have in front of you when you're playing is you have your character sheet, which gives you your statistics, and it gives you some your special ability that you can do. And then you have, and that's the first thing you choose is what character do you want to be. And then you also have a role, and your role gives you a set of skill cards, which your character also gives you a few skill cards. And then there's some basic cards that every character has. And then you get a set of items, but it's very small. Like Aragorn starts with a sword, a banner, and traveling garb. And so then you have this deck of like 15 skill cards. It's 14 like useful cards, and then you get 1 weakness card, which just acts as a dead card in the deck. And each skill card can do a thing. And at every turn, you get to draw a number of skill cards and set one as a prepared card. So you'll be able to use that card's ability at some point in the turn. Other effects, Aragorn, for example, is very good at this. Other effects let you prepare more cards over the course of your turn. But then every card can have a little symbol up in the upper left that tells you if it's a success or not. So when you go to do a skill check, you flip cards from the top of your deck and then count the number of success symbols that show up on the cards. So it's still randomized and it's still kind of effectively like a die roll. But when you test wisdom, for example, if you have a wisdom 3, you'll flip 3 cards from the top of your deck, and then the number of success tokens tells you how much, or success symbols tells you how much, like whether you've succeeded and to what degree. And there's a number of ways to like stack the deck. Like that's the thing Aragorn is very good at, is stacking the top of his deck to make sure that you know how many and when your symbols are coming. So it's luck, but it's luck that you can kind of exert some control over. And he can help other characters do that too. So while picking him instead of Legolas means that you're not going to be able to do as much damage, because Legolas is like very powerful damage dealing abilities, Aragorn is going to give everybody the chance to like have a better idea of what cards are coming from the top of their deck. And so ultimately it's really simple, because that's like, you can do 3 actions in your turn, and you can do you can do 2 actions of 3 different things. You can move, attack, or interact with something on the map. That's it. And you can do the same thing twice or 2 different things. And then when something tells you to test a skill, you flip the number of cards for whatever skill you're testing, check the success symbols, and that tells you if you've succeeded or failed. That's like the bulk of the rules in a nutshell. From there, cards modify that. Combat's a little bit different. Same principle, but a little bit different. But like you can tell someone that that's how to play, and then the game will just sort of flow from there. It's not like you need to spend a half hour to an hour looking over rules and teaching everyone how everything works. But because of the way it works, there's enough strategy and depth there that as you sort of develop your character, there's a lot to think about. Like you have to weigh, this card's ability is good, but it doesn't have success symbols, so it's kind of a dead card for skill checks in my deck. And a lot of that stuff is just very neat. And when you combine that with sort of the changing scale and the way that the story adapts based on choices you make, like in the first scenario, at one point I found a dark tome sitting in a field, and I tried to interact with it, and it gave Aragorn a bunch of fear damage. And so I was kind of like, fuck that, I'm not going to do anything with that. But who knows what would have happened if I had interacted with it. Like that could have created a branching path in the story. It could have also been nothing, could have just been an item. It's neat the way that all that stuff interacts. And because you don't, the app is really good at like obfuscating a lot of that stuff. So you really don't know where it can branch and what it can do. But it's a really cool game. It's very expensive. It's like $100, which is a lot for a board game. But it seems really replayable, and it's really, really cool. And the expansion combat or content that's coming seems like it's not going to be like super through the nose. Like the model pack that's coming is like 3 models and some cards, and it's $15, which is less than a X-Wing ship, for example. So I highly recommend it if anybody has a chance to play it. And if you're looking for like a very accessible, like really easy to get on the table board game for like a group, it seems really good for that too.
Does it have Elijah Wood, Sean Bean, or Viggo Mortensen?
So no, they don't have the movie license. So
do they have Tom Bombadil?
No. So the characters in it, there's a I forget her name, but there's an elf woman, and then there's Beravor. Those are the 2, I believe, FFG created characters. And the other characters are Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Bilbo. Which, yeah, you can make an argument that like this is set before the Lord of the Rings, obviously, and Bilbo, Gimli, and Aragorn never went on an adventure together before Lord of the Rings. But you know what? Who cares?
Where is Tom Bombadil?
For all I know, he could show up.
Don't Aragorn and Legolas know each other?
In theory, they know each other, but like we don't know if they've. I mean, I guess there's nothing saying they couldn't have.
I thought they knew each other before that.
They did. They knew. I mean, everybody kind of knew of each other at Rivendell.
Yeah, Aragorn, he's tight with the elves. So anyway, that's Okay, that's cool. I wish I could play more board games, but living in Japan with not so many foreigners around, it's tough.
I'll say too, this is like maybe not a concern to anyone here, but for me, like the amount of space you need to play a board game, it doesn't determine whether or not I will play something. I'll make it work, but I like it when I can fit something onto my card table. And this game is like the perfect amount of table space. If it's like I have a normal folding card table, and it fits like perfectly on it with an iPad to run the app and everything. So cool. It's got a really nice kind of board size as well.
Would you describe this board game as bougie?
I wouldn't, because I think that like I don't know. I think of bougie to sort of take what you're saying seriously. I get that it's a joke, but like I kind of think of bougie as super fancy without a lot of substance. And I think that Fantasy Flight in general, their games deliver on that substance in a way. Like they're expensive and they're they have a lot of components and stuff, but it's not like playing like when I think of bougie, like there's like a Catan set that's like all 3D. It's like it's like $400 and like this beautiful pre-painted 3D model basically on your table, which why I don't like that game in the first place. So I can't understand why anyone would do that. But that to me is bougie because it's not adding anything to the game to have such lavish components. Whereas having the miniatures and stuff in this game actually like adds something to it, I think. And so I don't know that I would use the word bougie. Expensive, I can't tell you that it's not expensive, but I think it's worth it because of how replayable it is. I mean, I think you could play this game for hundreds of hours probably, and with what's in the box, and it would be fun. So,
speaking of bougie, Alex, what did you bring this week?
I don't know what that
means.
means.
Go, guys. I'll speak to you next week.
Okay.
Bye,
Thanks for joining.
Bye. Wow. Just as I'm about to talk about the game of the year.
he didn't care.
Oh. You're playing Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm playing an actual good game. Actually, if you were watching the stream or the video version of this game, you quote unquote heard me talking about this then, but my microphone was broken, so it was edited out of the audio version. So, buckle in, you guys. We're talking about the game Supraland.
Yeah.
This time
I couldn't understand anything you said last time, so this is good.
So this is all fresh to you.
Yes.
So Supraland is how do I even start?
Okay, wait. This is Supraland, right?
Yes.
Like not Supra.
Supra.
Like in Tenacious D, they're like supernatural. No, not supernatural. Supranatural.
Exactly.
Pick of Destiny.
Yeah. So I found this game. It's another one of my random Steam finds where I just go to Steam, look for what's new, and then just like, oh, this has an interesting title, or this seems like a weird indie game. So
A dump in the dark.
Yep, just like a dump in the dark. And this one, it was a winner, actually. It's about $20. You can get it straight on Steam. I think it's coming to other platforms, if not already there. It's this lateral thinking puzzle game. So kind of like your Portals or whatever. But it's also kind of a Metroidvania where like you'll see some puzzles that will be gated by skills that you might not necessarily have yet. So you're like, I have no idea what this thing does, but hey, I can probably come back to that. But it also feels really fun and balanced. So like in terms of the puzzles themselves, it feels somewhere between like Portal and the Talos Principle, but with a bit of like, let's say, the Witness thrown in. The Witness specifically, the Witness specifically, like how you wander around and explore the environment, and then like find a ton of side puzzles along the way that like will introduce you to little tiny mechanics that are only used for that little section, or stuff like that. Which is really cool. And it also takes the only good part of Breath of the Wild, which is that it like really rewards exploration. So like sometimes it feels like you're breaking the game by climbing to out of bounds places, but then you get up there and there's like a chest that's waiting for you with upgrades. So you're just like,
So that just sounds more like Mario Odyssey, where they're like, hey, get up here. You jumped through the wall, then up here, and hey, there's a bunch of coins.
Yeah, there's also that. But Breath of the Wild, I felt, did that okay. But I'm trying to give it props for the only point where it's due. Anyways, so like it's the Metroidvania aspect of it is actually really cool because the upgrades to your abilities are actually like awesome and creative and like kind of unique. I don't want to ruin any of them because they are creative and unique, and it's better to just kind of like run into them naturally. But
I think I'm definitely going to play this game too, so I appreciate that.
Like here's one of my favorites so far, which isn't really like spoilery for a puzzle game, but like one of them has been armor, which you're like, oh, it's just armor, who cares? But when you get it, it does give you the expected damage reduction because there is combat in the game. It's a first person game where there's enemies, so you have like this sword. But when you have the armor, it nullifies any damage below a certain threshold. So like all of a sudden the very low level enemies, they don't even do damage to you anymore. Or like you touch cactuses or cacti, whatever, who cares? Once you have armor, like touching them doesn't do anything. So it changes the way you can do puzzles because that means you can jump on top of cactuses now. So like you're like, oh wow, I look at the world in a different way. Now I can jump from cactus to cactus and stuff like that. It's really clever. Something that could have been a pitfall is that it's extremely referential, which like for me is usually super hit or miss.
Does it reference Pitfall?
No. I didn't see anyone named Harry. So
and no alligators,
no alligators
in like pits. Okay.
No swinging on vines that I've seen. But like it hits those references more often than it doesn't. So like you pick up a coin and it's a straight up the coin sound from Mario, or you open a chest and it plays like a Zelda like jingle, and you kill all the enemies in an area and it plays the Skyrim like dum dum sound, stuff like that. Like it's really good. I think it's a great puzzle game. And it has a demo on Steam, which is really, really generous. You can probably get about an hour out of that demo, and like it's not really limited in any way. And any progress you make in the demo pulls straight into the actual game. So it's a good way to tell if that game is going to be for you. So I totally recommend it. I'm about 2 hours in. It's about a 15 to 20 hour game.
Yeah, the Steam page says 15 to 30.
Okay. Yeah, I can totally see it being 30 if you really.
So if you're real dumb, 30 hours.
Who's 33? Got it.
But after Baba Is You, I could use something that makes me feel smarter.
Yeah, it is one of those games that makes you feel like, oh, that was really clever. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Supraland is great.
I just downloaded the demo, so that all sounds really neat.
Yeah.
It's got a pretty cute aesthetic too. It looks like it's like a toy box aesthetic.
Yep.
Kind of.
It is
like literally you're playing as a toy, I think.
Yep. You're playing as like there's like red action figures versus blue action figures, and you're one of the red ones. Its story is really dumb, but it's kind of charming that way.
Well, maybe it'll get like super crazy. You always come to us with these games that like have really intense stories, and if you're only 2 hours into this, I can't even begin to think where this could go. Yeah,
maybe it ends up being really existential or something. Who knows? But yeah,
turned into a visual novel 3 hours in.
That wouldn't surprise me. But no, it's made by one guy also, so I think. Like
he ran out of money, so that's why he made it a visual novel.
Yeah. Thoroughly recommended. It's super good.
Cool. I'm looking forward to playing that. Allyson, birthday girl.
Yay.
What would you like to share with us?
Okay, so I have a lot of games. So I don't have a lot that I'm going to talk about for that long, but just maybe want to start out with the reason I was gone last week, which is because I was at Star Wars Celebration.
What's that?
It's a convention about the movie series Star Wars, which is
is that like Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. Like a sci-fi Lord of the Rings, absolutely.
Okay.
Star Trek. Does it have Tom Bombadil?
God, who would be the equivalent of Tom Bombadil in Star Wars?
Does it have Viggo Mortensen?
I don't know, but I do have to say that
It's Maz Kanata.
Oh my god!
Is Tom Bombadil a Union Buster?
Wow. Maybe. We don't know.
That is like the one part I love The Last Jedi. Don't at me. Actually, at me, and I'll fight you. But that is like my least favorite part of the Last Jedi.
To be fair, we never find out which side of the Union dispute she is on. But
okay. You know, this is gonna be my headcanon is that she supports unions. Got it.
But
she supports unions, guys.
No. When we were talking about the similarities or how Star Wars is sci-fi Lord of the Rings, and I was like, oh, they both end with weird, wrinkly guys being thrown into giant holes.
That's true.
Theoretically dying. So look forward to Gollum returning and Rise of Skywalker, the Rise of Gollum.
Yeah. Gollum's coming back. It was a 5-day Star Wars convention. I am still not 100% recovered from it. I got sick, and also I'm still,
emotionally, physically, mentally,
like all of the above.
Okay.
Like I'm still achy. I think I pulled something in my back while I was there, and I got sick from it, but it was 10 out of 10 worth it every step of the way. So I heard that you guys talked about the Fallen Order stuff reveal last week a little bit.
Yeah. There's not, other than the trailer, which I still didn't watch with audio, there's not a whole lot to say about it because there's no gameplay out, right?
Right. Which is, I was actually able to be at that reveal, and I was a little bit, like, it was exciting to be in the room, but to be perfectly honest, I was a little bit disappointed by how much they revealed, I guess, because it felt like they were just basically like, here's a trailer, here's a story trailer, let's kind of pad it out.
E3's coming up, and of course Star Wars Celebration, so they want to have a thing, but because the game's so soon, would have been cool to get at least a little bit of something.
Yeah, like at least a little snippet of like, here's a I don't know, like
here's a lightsaber fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like here's a lightsaber battle. Look how cool it looks. And I'd be like, yes, it looks cool. Let me give you money. But it was, we'll see how I feel about it. The main character doesn't seem very interesting to me yet, but I'm a droid fan and BD1 seems really cute. So I'm like,
well, Respawn's real good at writing robots.
Oh my God. Yes, they are.
So like, please, if I could just hang out with my droid.
Oh, what was the name of the dang robot that you were best buddies with in Titanfall 2?
BT.
Yeah, BT, right. Oh, if there's a BT equivalent in that game, I'm totally in.
I don't think there'll be a giant mech that picks you up and carries you around and puts you inside of its body.
Throws you.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that.
In terms of writing.
In terms of emotional investment.
Star Wars. Like there are mechs, but
and do they have giant lightsabers like the robot in Avatar?
No, that should probably exist.
Yeah, man. Oh man, that'd be so
cool.
Speaking of Avatar,
what if that's like the climax of that game? We're making a Star Wars game.
Wait. Side note. Sorry, Allyson. Cheska and I have been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender because she's never seen it before. That show's still really good. That's all.
Secret Tunnel. I
think about Secret Tunnel like at least weekly.
I don't even like Last Airbender, and I think about
What? You're off the podcast. Get out.
What?
Hang up your mic and headphones. To be honest with you, I think you're the first person I've ever heard say that they don't like that show.
Whatever. I did. You know what? I didn't think the M. Night Shyamalan movie was that bad.
Wow.
Okay. I haven't seen that much of the show, but like that movie was.
I'm not. But I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I think people overreacted.
It was trash. It was straight trash.
And that's if that's how you feel, that's probably how you feel about The Last Airbender.
But you know what doesn't seem to be straight trash, Allyson?
Yeah.
That Katana, whatever that thing is.
Yeah. So actual video games. I have a lot of video games I've been playing this week, mostly because when it's my birthday, I'm just like, ooh, I can buy whatever game I want. That's how it works, right? So I bought Katana Zero, which just came out on Switch, and PC. Yeah. It's also on Steam, and it's really good so far. And so basically, it's really, I've seen a lot of people compare it to Hotline Miami, but it's instead of the top down, it's a side scroller, but basically the kind of gameplay loop is that you have to get through each room without taking a single hit, because you'll die. So you kind of have to keep working through the room and figuring out your solutions to it. But you also have like a sword, a jump button, and also you can slow down time, which really helps actually when people are shooting at you. But then the kind of cool loop of it is that in a very super hot kind of way, it after you finish a room, it replays it for you, but without any of the slowdown. So you're just like, yeah, look at how good I was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Even though like half of it you're like slowed down and just like okay, here's the bullet, then reflect. So but the thing that I'm actually really interested in is that it seems like the story is getting really interesting. You have quite a few options where you have like real-time conversations with people. So you have several different options you can choose from, and there's a time bar that kind of forces you to make a choice, or you can interrupt or things like that. And there are enough times where stuff changes that I'm like kind of wondering how much the choice will matter. Like I'm playing through this is really, really, really early on, so it's not really a spoiler, but and also it's in the Giant Bomb Quick Look, but there's one point where you're trying to get into this hotel, and your character is known as the dragon, and so you're just wearing this giant thing. You're always carrying a sword, so you're very conspicuous. Like if people see you, it's clearly obvious, like, oh shit, that's the dragon, he's gonna fuck shit up. But you can, like, for this one, you walk into the hotel, and if the person at the front desk is like, hey, what's up? Like, why are you dressed like that? And you can straight up answer, oh, it's cosplay. And it kind of bullshit your way through, like, yeah, it's from this series. Haven't you heard of it? It's not on the version of future version of Netflix because it's not for casuals or whatever. And the person at the front desk is like, okay. And then like at the end of the level, you can walk out and they're like, wait, and like a cop is like, wait, why are you covered in blood? And you could be like, it's cosplay. And the person at the front desk is like, yeah, haven't you heard of cosplay? So like, so that's like a very lighthearted one, but there are enough other options where you can make choices where I'm like, did I make the right choice? Did I do that? And the one thing that showed up a lot in the in like the trailer that was played in one of the Nintendo Directs is they're like, you could go to your therapist, which is accurate, but it's also like this therapist is also, it's like half therapist, half like handler giving you these missions. So there's like a lot of implications of like, is there something shady going on? Is there something
that could be very Hotline Miami-esque?
Yeah. It's so it's very like, there are a lot of times where I like, So, yeah, I am only a handful of missions through, so I'm not very far, and I'm already like, should I trust everything? I like it's immediately like, what do you trust? And setting up some interesting story beats that I'm really interested to see where it goes. But yeah, it's really good so far, and I definitely recommend it if it sounds at all interesting to you. It's tricky so far, but in a very Hotline Miami way. So it's not like when you die, it feels like it's like super punishing or anything.
So 2 things.
Yes.
One is I think this game got like the no rating from the Australian board because of the way they submitted it, so it can't be sold there right now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then also on the Steam page, they have a screenshot of the conversation you were talking about with the anime stuff and the options it gives you when the person says, "Ooh, I love anime. Who are you supposed to be?" You can answer Pikachu, or obviously Shinju Sakamura from EX vs. X Sakura Redux 2. So yeah, that's a pretty good anime name.
Yep, and that's definitely the option I chose.
Sounds like a Capcom like fighting game.
Yeah, so I'm actually really interested in like it.
It might be drug use.
Oh yeah, there's definitely there is definitely drug use. Oh yeah. Yeah. But that's
Happy 420, everybody.
Well, it's one of those
it was
where
that kind of drug use.
Your neighbors are very into the 420.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not so bad.
Well, yeah, but you're into other stuff too.
Hmm.
Well, it's one of those things where
the White Devil, I see.
Well,
what about Steve Jobs?
White Devil.
Well, it's one of those things where it would be. I feel like the content of the game would be really difficult if it didn't have some drug use to an extent.
Is the drug use how they explain like the time dilation?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm thinking like a game designer.
Yeah, but there's also other stuff. I was just in a situation where somebody offered me a lot of Coke, and I was like, "Good, I'm good, thanks." And he's
I'm not thirsty.
What the fuck? Yeah.
How bad do you want to slow down time?
Yeah, but it's fun so far, and it's only $15, which I feel like is very legit for it. So.
Yeah, that seems everything I'm seeing and hearing about this game makes it seem like something I'd really enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also from Devolver Digital, which I feel like they're generally a good mark of quality in terms of indie titles.
Yeah, they're pretty consistent.
Yeah, so I like whenever I see their name pop up on something, especially if it pops up on Switch, because I'm really predictable. That'll definitely get my attention. But yeah. So yeah, everybody should check out Katana Zero if they'd like. I think it's very good so far, and I got into a part where it was a little bit difficult, but I'm going to try and fight my way through it because the story is interesting. So has anybody else played any of the DLC for Smash Ultimate?
I have not played the Joker stuff. I am too broke to buy it. I played some Smash last night, but I did not play any of the new stuff.
Yeah, which I dedefinitely get that. But I got the Joker stuff, and
not all of us can have a birthday.
Not all of us can justify spending too much money because I'm just like, it's my birthday. I deserve it.
No, I can do that. I just can't have a birthday.
But yeah, I don't know how much there is to say about it. Just that it's I really like how much of the style of Persona 5 that they incorporated into Smash.
Yeah, I really
especially.
Sorry, the stage that they added looks really good, especially when it brings in the Persona 3 and Persona 4 flavors of the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there are just certain points, like one of the things that you do with Joker is that you have to build up a gauge to get your persona, and every so often it like pops up with the persona and like the kind of cut in with it. And then also like the final smash is
it an all-in attack where you like shoot them and they get knocked over? Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
It's an all-in attack. So you see characters pop up. If you win, it has the victory screen. It is very much like it is very going all in on Persona 5 style, which is great. Yeah. I don't know if I'm quite good at playing with Joker yet, but the whole building up that gauge is pretty interesting, especially since you build up that gauge by getting damage and also deflecting damage. So there might be an element of like skill with that I haven't figured out yet, but
yeah, it's really cool actually.
It is cool. I've played through the classic mode with Joker, but I haven't tried any online with Joker yet because I am chicken. But
one thing
I saw.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I saw that like because they've got the spirits in the game, and one of the spirits is Futaba, and it's just an inkling, the orange hair, which that's exactly what Futaba looks like.
Yeah, it totally is.
Also, you can get a teddy head for the Mii fighters.
What?
Yeah, Teddy from Persona 4. Yeah, I think I saw a teddy head.
I think you have to buy it separately.
I'm super into
maybe
that.
I don't know, because it goes on top. It's like it's not like replaces the head. It's Teddy's face on top of the head of the Mii fighter.
Does it have the zipper on the bottom of it?
I don't remember.
Oh, I hope it does.
I only saw like a screenshot in like the news thing of the of Smash, but yeah.
Fair enough. One of the things I really liked in the reveal, or not the reveal trailer, the trailer that came out just before it came out, like they kind of revealed the way his skills work and stuff like that. It's like, oh, the announcer's like, oh, he has this special ability, gun. Like, it's just so straightforward. It's hilarious.
He has special ability, gun, and now he can give Kirby gun, which is
There have been characters with guns. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2 is really shaping up to be an incredible game. Got Cloud.
Stop it. You can't say that out loud. It hurts.
Rip.
It would be so good if they did it.
Maybe. I like
the mechanical difference between PS All-Stars and Smash, while it is clearly inspired by Smash, made it a different thing.
I enjoyed that game. I don't know if they can do it again.
The stages were so good.
I don't know if they can make it like actually. I don't know if they can make it something that was like that actually had legs, because that game died off pretty quick. Like they kept there was like a community, but it wasn't huge. There was one of the items was like a photorealistic fish that you slap people with.
They could release it on like a PlayStation console that will be playable. Like if they were to put it out on like whatever PS5, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you could actually play it. Like the problem now is you
can't go back to
your
it.
Vita. Yeah. Like that's the only reasonable way to play it. Mm-hmm. Nobody has PS3s laying around.
Is it on PlayStation now?
I don't know. I don't think it'd be very good there.
PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale now.
I played it in the last 8 months on my and I still found online matches in like 30 seconds. So people are still playing it.
100 of your favorite PlayStation characters drop onto an island.
That's the problem, is they couldn't call it Battle Royale now because that's what people would think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also,
there aren't 100 PlayStation characters.
Cat was pretty cool in those games.
Yeah.
In that game. Did I have to pay? No, she was free, wasn't she? I don't even remember. Anyway.
Speaking of games that have amazing animation and cool style, Allyson.
Oh yeah, I also treat myself to Cuphead on Switch. I don't know how much more I have to say about it because I feel like everybody knows Cuphead at this point. But it's still really good. The Switch port feels really, really great. Like there aren't any, I haven't run into any issues or any frame rate things.
Right.
It just runs.
Are you playing as Cuphead or Mugman?
Usually Mugman, but you can kind of switch between them. But usually I'm more of a Mugman type. But
okay. If you're feeling saucy, you go Cuphead.
Yeah. Well, I also just kind of wanted to check. Like,
or is it if you don't feel saucy, you go to Cuphead? You always feel, that's my secret.
I'm always saucy. I'm always saucy. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm still incredibly terrible at that game, but
I've been to look if that game was on Game Pass.
I think it is. I still never beat that game. I got to like the second to last boss and went, I know what I need to do, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And so I never beat.
Is that the dice one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's
like I can get through. Yeah, I can like get through all the dice stuff fine, but I can't get to through the hand stuff. It's no good.
Yeah, I don't know how far I'll get into this because I didn't get close to beating it. I think I got stuck on one of the last bosses of the second island, but I it's on Switch, which I am a fan of. So but yeah, it looks perfect. It feels really great on Switch. So if you're looking to play it on the Switch, I
really want to play it on Xbox because I think it would look pretty awesome in 4K. But it's still like $26 to buy it, which not saying that it's not worth that amount of money because it's an awesome game. But since I already have it on PC, right, I kind of feel bad spending that much money to buy it again on Xbox when I feel like that's a game that, given and how it was published, it would be great if it was on Game Pass, which I have. But yeah, that's my
no, I get it. I don't know if I would have bought it, which it's $20 on Switch. I don't know if I would have bought it without it's my birthday, so fuck it.
Well, it's also portable then too. It's a little different I feel like Switch ports are slightly different than going from PC to like Xbox or PlayStation consoles. Like it makes more sense to me to be able to take it on the go, to spend the premium to get it again.
Although I don't know how much I'm going to play it on the go because I don't really feel like throwing my Switch across on a bus, just taking my Switch and
also it is kind of like, I don't know. I remember it feeling pretty good when I played it last with analog sticks, but that Switch D-pad on the Joy-Cons sucks. So if you wanted to play it with a D-pad, I don't imagine that with a Joy-Con would be the way to do it. Not that the Pro Controller is any better, but I don't know.
Oh God, that game with a Pro Controller. Nuh-uh.
I heard someone, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I heard someone talking about how great the Pro Controller is, which generally I agree, but they didn't mention the caveat of the D-pad.
Maybe they haven't used it.
But how, I mean, do you not like lovingly caress a new controller and feel each of its parts and understand?
No, I'm not a pervert.
Like, this is a good thing and this is a bad thing. You're not a gamer is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely not.
Also, other tangent, I did a survey for Battlefront 2 recently where they were asking like if you like the direction the game is going, which I was like, yes, I really like this game now. It's really good. Keep doing what you're doing. And I tried to answer it as honestly as possible. It's kind of a long survey. And at one point, they asked you if you identify as a gamer, which I put in strongly disagree to, because
I shall not.
Like that's like a whole implication that I'm not looking.
Exactly. Yeah. Like at the very least, they did not put a capital G on it. But still.
What's the next question? If you rise up.
Oh
no! no,
no, Alex.
What's doing the robot thing again?
But yeah, did it ask you if you rise up? I was actually going to ask a similar question myself. So good thing Alex talked about his game before his audio went out.
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
please enlighten us as to what you have been playing.
So I haven't been playing a whole lot because I've had a lot going on. I've had a lot going on. I'm studying for a big test. BTS had to come back. Oh, you know what? I should have mentioned that when we were talking about Persona. The name of their new album is Map of the Soul Persona.
Every time I see that, I'm like, is that a Persona reference? And I know it's not.
Listen, when they came out with the trailer for the album was just Rap Monster doing a solo song called Persona, and there have been no Persona memes. Where are the memes? I want to know.
That's so sad.
They could at least have them dancing like that song with like the dance all night stuff.
Don't let your memes be dreams.
I don't have time. Or I would have. But anyway, so what I've been playing instead is a coloring game. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a coloring game. It's like a paint by numbers / paint by pixel game, I guess. And it's just kind of just well made. It's nice. There's not a lot to say about it. When you finish your drawing, it like animates. Well, when you finish coloring it, it animates, which is cute and it's fun. And it has really good music. It's not too distracting, but like, you know, like Xavier was sitting near me and he goes, "Is that the game with that music?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, that's a mood. That's fun." And it is. It's a mood. It's fun. So yeah, there's really not too much to say about it. It's like free to play. There's like seven. There's like 7 different things you can color right now, but I'm assuming they will add more that you can pay for eventually.
There's an expansion pack.
There is one
available on the 27th.
Okay, so all right, so maybe when that comes out,
30 new images.
Free. Okay, then I definitely will get that. Then I was gonna say like
the completion of all the levels takes approximately 25 hours.
What?
New animations and new challenges.
Wow. Okay. All right. Whatever.
This stuff actually does look way more complicated than what I saw in the trailer. Like,
okay. I mean, because like all of
this is really, like.
Oh, I'm looking at it now
too. A whole little bedroom scene of a gamer rising up.
Oh, so it's me.
Yeah, it's a whole little.
It's a whole little Pat scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
actually, it's more like Sam. He's got a Batman, a Terminator, and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle on his shelf.
That's definitely Sam's bedroom. That's not. I live with a clean bedroom. I just have a DS on my nightstand.
The creator of this game, all the other games that he has put out are like weird, horny anime games that are also free to play.
I like the emphasis on that. Those are free to play, so wink if we want to play.
Yeah, you know.
So if you're into horny anime,
Mojo XXX,
they're probably paying to say
Hanako, Mojo 2, Mia. Wow, it's just like bloody walls.
Open incognito tab. Whoa, I don't like that.
Bloody Walls is the name of a horny anime game?
No, the world was plunged into chaos following an accident at a bioweapon research facility. 100% of the Earth's population is now horny girls. No.
Oh my God.
There's an
I believe
that
you.
blocks infection from the airborne strain of the virus, but the effect is temporary. It's just like a 2D side-scrolly shooter thing.
Wow. You know, usually when games have like horny stuff in them, they're like, they kind of obscure it a little bit on the Steam pages. But if you pull up the Mojo XXX Steam page, it's just
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
There's just stuff right there.
Okay, here we go. XXZ, zombie apocalypse has turned out to be somewhat different from what science fiction authors used to write. Only women can turn into zombies. You are spending the holidays on a tropical island when Daisy comes. The mission is to lead a group of 3 people who try to escape to the boat.
Wow.
So what you're telling me is that your description was not that far off.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait.
I'm not sure if I recommend those games, but coloring games cute.
Is that a boob? What?
There's boobs. There's definitely these Steam pages.
Well, this is the Bloody Walls Hardcore X2 extended version.
You can't keep saying that.
Bloody balls.
The DLC. I don't know. Okay. Well, that's coloring game.
Yep. That's coloring game.
I look forward to the Bloody Walls Hardcore X2 DLC for coloring game.
Game of 2016 Bloody Walls.
Yeah. But when it's DLC for coloring game, 2019.
Oh, Bloody Walls isn't horny. That's why I was making me uncomfortable.
Oh no, but I was like, maybe the hardcore DLC is horny, but it didn't like it was. But one of the items.
Okay,
never mind. The trading cards are horny for Bloody Walls.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like,
I scrolled down a little bit and then I saw what. Yeah.
How did you find this coloring game?
All right, so
she was playing other games and then also buy this.
Playing Bloody Walls now, but
Bloody Walls. I went, oh, perfect.
Trying to sell her different trading cards or trying to buy trading cards.
What happened was, I said to Xavier, I need a game to bring for tomorrow, and I don't have any energy or time or money left in my budget because I'm going to a K-pop concert. And he's like, "Oh, I heard about a game. You should play this one." So really, the question is how did he find out about it?
Well,
he's real into XXZ Dead Souls trial.
He said it was trending on Steam, but I don't know if I believe him.
This developer is rather prolific. Like, they've got a lot of games, and they've got 3 releases for this year, or not counting what's already come out. Like, yeah, they've already released 3 things this year, including coloring game. Wow. Okay. This person moves quick. Well, that's all cool. I guess I'll talk about my game now. I have been playing The Surge, which is free quote unquote on PlayStation Plus. It is a sci-fi Souls-like game. If Lord of the Rings is Dark Souls, then The Surge is like, I don't know, Star Trek maybe.
No, none of those things track.
No,
I appreciate that you tried, though.
I don't watch Star Trek either. It doesn't track, I don't think. But yeah, so
the Search is more like Alien. That's kind of what it is. I know that there aren't a ton of aliens necessarily.
Yeah, that's aesthetic. More appropriate. Yeah. It's not so retrofuturistic, which I appreciate, because retrofuturism annoys me. It just irks me so much.
Well, keep in mind, at the time that Alien was released, it wasn't exactly retrofuturist. It was
but
current futurist.
Fucking monochrome screens in space. Get the fuck out of here.
That's all they had in real life.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Monochrome screens. God damn. Anyway.
It's the coolest thing.
It's a good aesthetic.
It's the best aesthetic for sci-fi.
Whatever. Anyway. So The Surge has a very distressing opening. You start the game, find out, oh, hey, you're in a wheelchair, which is okay, that's cool. And you're like, you go into like this medical office, you're in a wheelchair for all of like 2 minutes, maybe, while you just kind of wheel around to get to where you're going. No gameplay, really. And you are being put into like an exoskeleton so you can work, and then that will give you the use of your legs back. But the whole opening cutscene where you get put into the exoskeleton, oh man, it's like, oh, subject sedated. And then the guy's like, what? No, I'm not. And then you get put like screwed into the exosuit while you're awake, which is not great. And then it cuts to black, and then you wake up and everything's gone to shit all around you. And you're kind of you don't have like any memory. You're just like in the midst of like all these drones and other like workers trying to kill you, basically. Which is where all the soul stuff starts coming in. It's when I say soul stuff, I mean deliberate combat animations. When you die, you're running back to a corpse, theoretically, to pick up whatever you dropped or whatever like tech scrap you dropped. Where this kind of differs from Souls games is you can bank your tech scrap in like the ops center, which there's only one per level. The levels are like discrete areas, as opposed to Dark Souls is interconnected. Like it's one world, and then you're just kind of running in and out of like various places.
This almost sounds more like Demon Souls then.
Yeah, kind of. Except you have to progress through the level to get to the next one.
Gotcha. Okay.
As opposed to like a hub world in the middle. Yeah. So like there is a bit of that. Like there is like one area you keep coming back to, but it like changes and you're playing through it each time, kind of. And then the combat, where it differs is you can target specific sections of the enemy. So you can you'll target them, and then you like move the right stick, and then instead of changing enemies like it does in Dark Souls, it'll move to like their right arm, or it'll move to their leg or their head, or you can select every piece, and every limb, and so you head, torso, arms, and legs. And by doing so, you can find like a part that's unarmored, and if you attack an unarmored part of the enemy, then they'll get staggered, and then you can just kind of stun lock them and kill them. But what that doesn't get you is if you attack an armored piece and then use the execution move that you get by building up an energy meter, which you get by just like comboing. Then you hit square, hold square, you'll do like a finisher move, which involves you chopping off pretty much whatever body piece you're targeting. And then you can salvage the armor from that body part. So the first time you do it, you'll then get a schematic, so you can make that armor piece and add it to your exoskeleton. And then those things have like minus 20% stamina expenditure on running or whatever. So and then you can mix and match those pieces all you want. And then that's also how you get the components to upgrade all your armor and stuff. So there's a little bit of like, okay, well, I need this, so I need to like focus on the head, but then their head's armored, so I can't stagger them as much. So then, okay, well, do I want to attack the arm, but then switch to the head? But if you don't attack the head enough, then you won't get to chop it off. It's very complicated, but it's like a cool, neat way to handle the combat, I think. But then it becomes very hard to deal with like multiple enemies at once. Like if I get surrounded by multiple enemies, I'm usually dead, which sucks. But and there's like more of the story is more straightforward than like a Dark Souls. Like it's very explicitly telling you a story. Whereas in Dark Souls, like you're going through a story, but it's more kind of like, you kind of try and figure out what happened. Where there's like audio logs spread about, and people you're talking to who have like, who are like, spouting exposition at you and telling you like, you need to go here so you can find this person and, do all this stuff. It's really cool. Usually I go like heavy weapons in like Dark Souls games because I prefer to do like big attacks, like fewer attacks that do a lot more damage. But in this one, I found some like double blades. So I've got like a thing on each arm, and then they also spit fire. Oh, and so I can do like, I've got a couple different combo moves. So I can do like, I'm going to hit him twice and then do a backflip, and then also shoot out fire while I do the backflip. And so it gets me like distance from the enemy and also does fire stuff, which is cool. or I can hit like R1, R1, R2, and then like I hit them, and then I spin in a circle and make a circle of fire on the ground that kind of stays for a little bit. So it seems like there's a lot of different combat options, even amongst like similar weapon types. They won't have the exact same combos.
It's very neat.
Is there anything that the Surge does like really well? Like obviously if you compare it to Sekiro or Dark Souls, it's not going to stand up 1-to-1, but is there anything that it does that's like, yeah, that's really cool. I wish Dark Souls or whatever would pull that in.
I think the like targeting specific parts of the enemies is pretty neat. But like I look forward to what they do with the Surge 2, because there's like a lot of cool ideas that I think just aren't quite executed on well enough. Like it's a little, I don't know. It's sometimes I get tired of the, like the loop and like the level design can get a little confusing, like they're contained levels, but like it's really easy to get lost or not know where to go. Like I've had multiple times where I had to look up a walkthrough to be like, where do I need to go now? Like wasn't explicit enough in telling me. And in like in a Souls game, you can usually just like keep progressing. There's like usually a way to go, or like, oh, well, I need to turn around because I did this thing, but now, okay, there's another way I couldn't go before because I wasn't strong enough. But
I mean, to be honest with you, I think that for me anyway, like, yes, the Souls games they have phenomenal combat and stuff, but the thing that I appreciate most about them is the way that the levels are designed, and the way they weave around I guess I should say the way the world is designed, the way it weaves around on itself and stuff. That's the reason I play those games, frankly, more so than the combat's incredible, but like I'm not really there for the difficulty. I'm there because I think that the world design is so stunning.
And like, I think the world, like the sci-fi setup, I don't know if you're like I think you're on maybe you're on Earth. I don't know. You're somewhere. You go outside at one point. But I think like the area they've set up and like the idea behind everything is really cool. It's just I think making them like discrete areas instead of like a big interconnecting thing kind of hurt it. But like, and there's like tons of shortcuts and stuff that you unlock as you go through the levels, but it still gets very confusing about where you need to go at times, at least for me. Also, for leveling up, you like as you level up, you're like getting more power for the core of your exoskeleton or whatever. And instead of putting stats into like, oh, my strength is going up and my stamina are going up, as you unlock more energy for your core, you're unlocking like implant slots, I guess. And those implant slots are things like, oh, I got a healing item here that like recharges when I go to the op station, or this one gives me more health. It like scales my health up. This one gives me more stamina. This one lets me see the health bars of people and things like that. So you have a lot of like customization that you can do kind of on the fly. You can't do it when you're out just like in that world. You have to be in the like med bay, but you can just change those in and out as much as you want. You're not like expending them. So it's nice to like experiment with that stuff.
That kind of sounds like Dead Space.
Maybe, yeah. I haven't played Dead Space.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like Dead Space. Obviously not the enemies, but like the world design seems a little comparable to Dead Space.
But specifically that suit stuff, because in original Dead Space and a little bit in Dead Space 2, you could take those cells and like place them wherever you want in your suit to give you certain abilities. So so it sounds kind of similar. It's neat.
There's like kind of some Metroidvania type stuff, very light. Like you get like a drone, and then you get the ability to have the drone like hack things that you can't reach. And then you get like a new exoskeleton that lets you like go through security doors that you couldn't go through before. And so you're kind of unlocking new abilities that give you incentive to go back to previous areas to like find audio logs or upgrade materials. I'm at the last boss now. Nothing in the game was like so hard that like I felt it was, unfair, but like there were definitely times where it's like regular enemies would just like plow over me and kill me in like 3 hits. I was like, come on, man. Just because I couldn't like, there was no consistency to like, okay, sometimes this guy's just going to stand here and other times he's going to charge at me as soon as he sees me and be like, wait, I'm in a doorway. I can't get out of the way in time. So that's annoying. But
Does it plow you hard like Bloody Walls?
Oh my god.
No, not like Bloody Walls, but maybe like Bloody Walls Hardcore X2.
I can't remember.
Podcast forever now.
Can't remember the thing I kept saying that made Erica uncomfortable a few weeks ago, but that's
Schlooters.
Schlooters, that's right. That was this is the equivalent. This is the equivalent of Schluter for me.
So wait, we're gonna make a Schlooter call based in the Bloody Walls universe.
Yes,
Oh,
Great, great,
Where
very
you
good.
color.
Yes.
The Surge 2 is canceled. It is being replaced by Bloody Walls 2, Hardcore X3, the Shlootening.
No.
Shlootening is an interesting.
Well, we have a podcast title. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and now it is no longer 4:20 in my time zone. It is now 4:21 at 12:01 a.m.
But it is here.
Hell yeah.
Merry Weedsmith.
8 a.m.
I got a bunch of texts from the weed store telling me that I should go there today.
Wait, why?
Like, oh, best day of the year.
Why are they texting you?
I mean, sometimes you sign up for customer points programs and you give them your phone number.
Fair enough.
Okay, well, that is going to do it, I believe. Unless anyone has anything else they want to talk about.
Place is coming back.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot what date it was. So when you sent that video of the teaser, the choreography teaser, I was like, is it today?
It's not today. Soon.
It's coming out soon. Listen to the new album by Lizzo. It's really, really good.
Okay.
I've been listening to a little bit of Korean music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Crush.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Crush is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Well, that is going to do it for episode 69 of Gaming Fix presents the Gaming Fix podcast.
Happy birthday,
I've been
Allyson.
your host. Happy birthday to Allyson. I've been your host, Andre Cole. You can find me on Twitter at Coolslaw, COOLSL4W. Alex, where can people find you?
In the Bloody Walls Steam community.
God.
Nice. I hear that's a good one. Pat, where can people find you?
You can find me at Jester PC.
All right. Where can people find you living your best birthday life, Allyson?
You can find me on Twitter at WRITERSERENYTY. And I only use Instagram sporadically, but I have quite a few photos from Star Wars Celebration on there. So if you want to check
that car had a BB-8 on it.
Yes, there were multiple BB-8 cars. There was the one that was the Volkswagen Beetle. Like the head on the BB-8 like moved and made noises, and I'm like, I've never wanted a car more in my life.
Too bad it's a terrible car.
Wait, what about how are your shoes? You got BB-8 shoes, right?
I did, yeah. They're very good.
Oh my god.
Erica, where can people find you?
At Erica, spelled AIREHCUH.
Okay, and you can find the Gaming Fix podcast wherever fine podcasts are sold and or not sold.
Don't pay for the podcast.
Pay for the podcast if you give it directly to my PayPal.
PayPal.me/
We don't have one of those set up. Don't say anything.
I didn't say.
MeUndies.
No.
Stamps.
MeUndies PayPal money for our podcast?
Stamps.com is back, baby.
Yeah.
Really, it's just a box for you to put your credit card information.
If the platform that you do not buy our podcast from allows for reviews and ratings, please give us a rating and a review. We would very much appreciate it, and tell your friends. Yeah, that's even better than a review. Is if you tell people to. I don't know.
A review doesn't take that long, so you can do both. How about that?
I have to do shout outs to my friend Joel, by the way, because he told me Thursday that he pushed to get through all of the Kingdom Hearts games so that he could finish them all in time for us to do Kingdom Hearts podcasts.
Oh no!
Okay. Touching,
so
very flattered.
You're infecting the world with Kingdom Hearts. Just kidding.
I wanted to play them. I didn't convince him.
Wait, so you're not saying
maybe you should ask him for help with that boss fight?
Yeah, that's probably true. Joel, if you want to get at me after this and let me know how you dealt with the 2 Keyblade person near the end of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Pat messaged me and was like, at me and our friend Chris, and was talking about this. And I'm like, I don't even remember this fight.
Oh my God. I was so mad. I was just raging out at Chris.
It's not in the original release. It's only in the final mix, which is the one in the HD collection. I've only played that version once, so I don't even remember this fight at all.
Joel, if you've been Norded, just blink twice. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Okay, that is going to do it for us. We will see you next week when our regular programming resumes. That'll be a nice podcast, but it won't be double nice like this one.
Yeah.
So long, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.